quizzes.
So I think we're going to start rolling. Hi, my name is Clark Everett. I'm the Director of Conference Education at the National Apartment Association, and I'm thrilled to be your host today for this webinar. This is an Encore learning webinar from Apartmentalize, which took place in June in San Diego. The title of today's discussion is Tribe, Transparencies, and Truth. Remember where you came from. First, I want to tell you that this is one of two Encore learning webinars. The second will be on Thursday, September the 13th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will feature another top-rated session from Apartmentalize 2018. That webinar will be entitled Question Everything, Multifamily Disruptors Needed, and it'll feature a panel of experts including Dana Pate, Director of Marketing from Matrix Residential, Leah Nicole Smith from Satisfax and ApartmentRatings.com, and Greg Toomey from Updater. I also, while I have your attention, would like to tell you that NAAEI's affiliate organization, the National Apartment Association Education Institute, is proud to present Rewind, which is a collection of over 60 PowerPoint synced audio and video captures of recorded sessions from Apartmentalize 2018. Purchasing this powerful online tool allows you to have online access to some of the very best education in the industry. You can share that content with your teams and colleagues via brown bag lunches, etc. And you can also earn up to 6 CECs towards your NAAEI designation. Purchase price is $3.99 for the 60-plus session set of recordings, and it's a great investment in your professional development. And last but not least, please mark your calendars for Apartmentalize 2019, slated for June 26th through the 28th, 2019, in Denver. We're already working and developing world-class education content for you, and we believe that we can surpass the high benchmark we achieved in San Diego. Now we can turn our sights towards today's presentation. Please let me introduce to you our awesome experts. Kimberly Hurd, wave Kimberly. Kimberly Hurd, CAPS, is an award-winning property management professional with 20-plus years of experience, skilled in maximizing value, improving portfolio performance, and increasing bottom-line profitability. Currently, the SVP of Operations at Sundance Property Management, Kim is responsible for the company's operational success, strategic planning, management, and oversight of all properties and ensuring compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Melissa Joy, hello Melissa. She oversees 9,200 plus units as the Vice President of Operations in the Southeast for Village Green. She has over 24 years of industry experience and holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from Xavier University. Melissa is a licensed realtor in the state of Ohio, and she's served on the board of directors for the GCN-KAA since 2015. Melissa has worked in multifamily markets across the country, including Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Louisville, Portland, Charlotte, and Atlanta. From now on, I'm going to step away and allow Kim and Melissa to do the thing they came to do. Kim, we are turning over the controls to you, and you are at the helm.
I'm ready. Maybe.
Here you go.
Perfect. I got it. Thanks, Clark. So thanks for everybody for joining us today in this session. We know it's a busy time of the year and a busy time in our world of property management. So we're very appreciative to everyone who's taken the time out to join us. Oh, my session got ahead of me already. Clark. There we go. Got ahead of me. Just seeing if you're paying attention first thing. And Clark, I think it's important to talk about right off the bat, why did we pick this topic and why is it important to what we are doing? So I started in the industry as a leasing consultant Melissa and I shared as well in June kind of how we got started in this. We've both been doing this longer than probably either one of us wants to admit. But we all have that experience of a corporate, you got to do air quotes, corporate site visit. So think back to that time when you were in leasing or your first role in this industry and what that corporate site visit felt like. For me, my company was headquartered out of state. They came in twice a year. We spent weeks preparing for their visit, and they came in, didn't speak to me because I was in leasing. They spoke to the manager, went in, shut the door, private meetings, came out, brought us all together, told us about the company way and policy changes, and it was all foreign to me. It wasn't something that I bought into. It wasn't a tribe that I felt like I belonged to. It wasn't a team that I felt like I belonged on. I wasn't part of this team, and I didn't really have loyalty to them because I only saw them twice a year and they didn't choose to speak to me. So my property was nearly 800 units. We were a large community in the portfolio. And then they leave as quickly as they came in. It's like a little tornado. As soon as they came in and disrupted everything, they leave the same way. And we all just kind of sat back and, whew, glad that corporate visit is over. And I vowed at that point that if I continued to move up in this industry and I became corporate and I made those site visits, it would never go like that. It would never feel like that. My team would never feel like that when I left. So that's what kind of started us to develop this session, is remembering what that felt like and where you started and making sure that we stay connected no matter how high up in this industry we move. So we took a lot of information from Seth Godin, this picture of him. A tribe is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. And this first section, obviously, that I'm going to lead off with is tribe and the importance of that tribe. I have properties in 4 states. Melissa, you have properties in
5
states. So how do we do this? How do we stay connected and get them connected to a leader and an idea in these situations that most of us are in? So I read this great book. I highly recommend it, Tribe. We need you to lead us, and we've taken a lot of information from this book as well. It's important for us to remember, as we talk about tribes, that tribes are the most important asset in our business. So I remind myself frequently that I'm not in the apartment industry or the apartment business. I'm actually in the people industry, in the people business. And at my organization and in most organizations, everyone is expected to lead, regardless of what your title is or your position. And we need to remember that there's a tribe waiting for each one of us to connect them to one another and lead them where they want to go. Leadership isn't management. You've heard that before. Leadership's about creating change, and change that you believe in. Leaders have followers. Leaders make change. And leaders use passion and ideas to lead their people. And that's something that's very, very critical as we talk about tribe. So according to the book, again, a group needs only 2 things to be a tribe: a shared interest and a way to communicate. So remember this about tribes. They're not about stuff. They're about connection. And that's what we want to challenge you today, is to think about connection. Everything I do is for us, my tribe, not for me. I don't manage, I lead. And when you lead a tribe that you belong to, what's in it for me, right? We always ask that. Why would this benefit me? The benefits increase. The work gets so much easier, and the results are much, much more obvious. And I love this line as well. When you hire amazing people and give them freedom, they do amazing stuff. And then work becomes fun, and that's contagious. And then other people reach out to you, and they want to join your tribe. They seek you out instead of you going out looking for people. And tribes grow when you recruit other people. Your people start doing the recruiting for you. The tribe does it for you. They do it for each other. And then ideas spread, and that's so exciting. The team members who are committed to change and engage in making things happen, they become happier and they're more productive. And really, that's what we want at our level, are happy, productive, functioning, efficient teams. And I'm not afraid to say it. I love my tribe. I don't own this mug, but I should. I love my tribe. And I care about them. And caring is the key emotion at the center of the tribe. Tribe members care what happens. They care what happens to their goals. They care what happens to each other. And if no one cares as you look around at your tribe, then you don't really have a tribe. If you don't care, really and deeply care at your level of leadership, then you can't possibly lead. And we're all living during a time when people want and expect their leaders to be more human and less perfect. And thank goodness, from my perspective. They also want us as leaders to be a bit more vulnerable, regardless of what our title or our rank is in the company. So this is my tribe. This is our corporate team at Sundance. They did not love taking this picture, but they humored me and did it. So in the interest of time, I'm going to give you real quick 19, I think, real fast ideas for staying connected, letting your tribe know you haven't forgot where you came from, showing them that they're important to you, that they matter. And some of these are things I've heard about, some are things I've done, maybe done at other companies. So currently I have every employee's birthday and hire date in my Outlook calendar. And as they pop up, I take just a minute to email or text or call and wish them happy anniversary, happy birthday. And it is important in communicating with your tribe to know who's a texter and who's an emailer and who loves a phone call, and use it appropriately. If we have owners visits and I have the pleasure to go along, I always make sure that I send a follow-up afterwards. It's so easy for us in our busy lives to complete an owner's visit. We come in, we tour them around, we answer all the questions, and then we leave, and the sites don't hear back from us. So I'm very conscious to send them a quick follow-up. It's not notes and notes, pages of notes, or what they did incorrectly. It's a thank you for the time you put into that. I could tell you were prepared. Here's some things I noticed that you did very well. I'll address areas for improvement at a later time, but immediately after the visit, I at least acknowledge, good job, this went well, and I appreciate you and what you did. I make time to stop at my properties. I have properties that I don't need to go to as often as others, and we all do. We have properties that are functioning very well and others that need more attention. But I make conscious effort to stop at those properties that are doing well, that don't need as much attention, because they're just as important as the ones that are struggling more and do need time. So I have a property that I drive by the exit every time I come to Cincinnati. I live in Indianapolis. I drive to Cincinnati once a week. And I have a property that's doing amazingly well on that drive. I don't have to stop. I choose to stop because I want to appreciate how great they're doing. I've been at properties before where we were doing well and never heard anything. That can be challenging as well. Okay, get to know me pages. I created a page on Word for each of my managers and my maintenance supervisors that just says my favorite non-alcoholic drink is, my favorite snack is, my favorite hobby, my favorite restaurant, things like that. And I had each one of them fill them out. So, for instance, I get to go this week to one of my properties and give a pay increase to one of my maintenance supervisors. And he had put on his sheet that he loves popcorn. So when I go to deliver that great news, I'm going to stop and pick up a bag of popcorn. Super easy to do, but it's going to be very personal to him. And that will make him feel like he matters, and he does. Positive emails. When I hear from owners about a great job that one of my team members does, I take time to send them an email and thank them for taking care of an owner relationship. I use FaceTime a lot. We're across 4 states. And as you are watching via video now, the power of video is tremendous. So I can call my other sites out of state, but I love to use FaceTime so that we can connect via video as well. I take employees to lunch, and not just the property manager, leasing consultants and maintenance technicians and maintenance supervisors. We celebrate births as well. That's a super exciting time for our team. If I'm on a new construction site, I attend the construction meetings. I sit through them and I listen, and that is very, very important. I don't have to solve all the problems, and I don't have to have all the answers at my level. Sometimes people just want you to listen. And I'm going to say that one again because it's super important. I listen. So I'm relatively new in my position here at Sundance, but I promised myself for the first 60 to 90 days, I was going to just listen. And I have met with employees out on their sites and listened. I met with our longest term maintenance supervisor, and I listened for an hour and a half. I listened to his concerns, his thought, what he felt was important. And he thanked me when I left and said in his, gosh, over 30 years in this industry, no one had ever done that for him before, and how much he appreciated that. I do distribution groups for email so that I can send messages just to managers or just to maintenance supervisors or just to my regionals if I need to. So it allows me to send direct targeted messages. We do quarterly updates via video, so no matter what state you're in, you get an update and know what's going on in the company. I do weekly video updates, 2 minutes or less, something we need to be reminded of, an ad girl or an ad boy, something exciting going on at the company, new acquisitions, things like that. We also do surveys, employee surveys on SurveyMonkey, because we want to make sure our employees' voices are heard and the tribe knows that they matter and they count. So we did a survey, we published the results and an action plan along with it so that people knew not only did we hear you, but here's what we're going to do about it. Melissa has shared that they do a lot of texting and a lot of group text so that if one of her properties does well, she sends out a group text so that everybody can chime back in and congratulate and appreciate that success. We're also highlighting an employee from the corporate office each month. There are people here that work in accounting or in different areas that HR that people don't know who they are. They've never seen their face. So we're doing some quick once a month communication as well so that everybody can see those faces, a little bio, things like that. And then the last thing I would share with you is monthly team meetings. I have monthly team meetings with the team of regionals and district managers. And then after that meeting, we send out follow-up. Now, Melissa's going to take that to the next level with her team meetings. We do once a month, but the important thing is after that meeting that the follow-up is sent out to all of the sites so that everybody knows, no matter where you're at, what property you're on, what we're talking about at the corporate level and what decisions are being made and things like that. Okay, so I know that was a lot really quick, and I've got probably 50 more, but in the interest of time, I want you to know at your level that you matter. We spend a lot of time telling people in other positions how important they are and how much we appreciate them. And sometimes we can get overlooked at that middle management level. So I want to just take a minute to appreciate you. Every tribe is different, and every leader is different. And the very nature of leadership is that you're not doing what's been done before, or you'd be following. So in all of those things I just listed off, I always tell my tribe, it's your choice. You can choose to lead or not. You can choose to contribute to the tribe or not. But your vibe attracts your tribe. And Melissa shared this with me, and I absolutely love it. If you look around at your tribe and you don't feel excited and anxious to work with them and teach them, that's a reflection on you. My vibration that I put out in the world, my positivity, my energy, my passion attracts people back like that. So if you're looking at your tribe and thinking, you need to take a good hard look at yourself and think, what kind of leader are you being for this tribe? Those are tough conversations for us to have, and we're going to touch base on that in the section on truth as well. Now, in June, when we were at the conference, we issued a challenge, a little tricky on a webinar, but I'm still going to go ahead and put it out there. We gave them a minute in the session to pull out their phone and appreciate someone that they've been meaning to. They didn't have the time before, or it wasn't a priority, or they weren't committed to doing it, but to recognize someone in their tribe who has gone the extra mile, done a great job, just hung in there and just needs to be acknowledged for that. So I would issue the same challenge to you. Of those 19 things I rattled off, the only thing really involved was time. But it takes someone who's committed to doing those things in order for that to be successful. So if you're sitting here watching this and you've got your phone near you, and I'm sure you do, I would again just say, can you pull up one person on your tribe that you need to say, I appreciate you, you've done a great job, hang in there, and just let them know you haven't forgotten how hard their job is. You haven't forgotten about them. They matter to you, and just appreciate them. And with that, we'll move into our next T. Melissa's going to take over and talk to you about transparency.
Melissa, I'm going to go ahead and pass you the controls.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, just to kind of piggyback on what Kim said early on, she said something really profound, and I love this saying. It's, you know, we are in the people business. We just happen to run apartments, and being in the people business is very serious business. And cultivating a successful and powerful tribe, it takes focus, it takes commitment, it takes dedication. It takes experiences together, both successful and unsuccessful experiences. I like to say to the new people who join our tribe, I look forward to celebrating many successes with you, and I also look forward to seeing you recover when you mess up, when you fail. I think one of the most powerful lessons that you can learn in this industry and in life in general is that very few of your mistakes are fatal. And so you can recover. And I love seeing how people recover and building the trust that comes from knowing people have your back and knowing that your tribe will be there for you when the going gets tough is just a very powerful lesson. So an effective tribe is developed through calculated efforts of the leader. And those efforts really hinge on trust. Trust is built through consistency and transparency. So we're going to talk about transparency. And in layman's terms, we all know transparency means being able to see through something. And from the business perspective, the businessdictionary.com defines transparency as the lack of a hidden agenda and conditions, along with the availability of all information required for the collaboration and cooperation and ultimately collective decision making. So how does this relate to leadership, and what is transparent leadership? Let me see if I'm able to drive yet over here. I am. Very good. So we used a few references in our presentation at NAA, and one of them is peterstark.com. And this is a website that has some really interesting information about transparent leadership. And the principle of the website really says that transparent leaders consistently behave in a way that's predictable, so there's no surprises. And we joked around about how in property management, we very rarely have surprises, right? Who knows what the next phone call is going to be? Who knows what the next, prospect walking in the door is going to need? I'm sure in the maintenance world, what's behind the next door, you literally couldn't imagine sometimes. We're full of surprises in property management. So the least of our surprise should be when we need collaboration, when we need support, when we need leadership from our leaders, there should be no surprises. And so when culture is defined and demonstrated, when expectations are set and your goals are measurable and resources are provided, then accountability is a must. Performance is the end result. Kim and I both work for third-party management companies, which means that we are service providers. And so performance is ultimately the end result that we are working for. And so this culture of transparency becomes very important. So at Village Green, the first time I ever really thought about what is transparency, Diane Bataya, who is our CEO and my mentor, when she got into her position, I remember we had a meeting and she got everyone together and she said, all right, we're going to be open kimono here. And I was like, what did she just say? Open kimono? I obviously know what that means. And in this context, I was a little worried. I was like, I don't know if I'm prepared to see everything and to know everything. That's, it's liberating, of course, but also with knowledge comes great responsibility. Though when you really just peel it back and you think about it, when you know better, you do better. And I think all the time, if I knew now, or if I knew then rather, what I know now, how effective I could have been, how much better of a performer I could have been, You know, we probably won't have time to get into too much about when we started in the business, but I started in this business in 1994 as a 17-year-old Saturday girl sales consultant. I knew nothing about nothing. I was eager to work. I was ready to deliver notices, file files, answer the phone, whatever they needed me to do. And when I think back about how little I truly understood about anything related to the apartment business and our ultimate objective of performance, I get a little scared. It also, though, is a great lesson, because when we are willing to be transparent with our tribe, when we are willing to share and get the buy-in from our team about what the goals are, the better we can perform. And I don't know if you are a sports fan, but I like to use the analogy of football all the time. And in lots of my meetings, my team will joke and tell you I try to use football analogies at every meeting. But if you've ever seen a play go wrong, it's pretty funny. You know, the quarterback throws right, but the receiver had gone left. Everybody looks confused. The camera zooms in. You're like, what's going on? And if you think about that analogy, it's impossible to score, which is the ultimate goal in a game. You're trying to score, you're trying to win, you're trying to get, you know, past the goal line. If you don't know the play, you're not going to score. And so transparency and this overall concept is much like that. I don't know if I've forgotten to go one slide above, or if we're here now, but you know, how do you become one of these powerful, trusted, and transparent leaders? Well, it is a journey, definitely a journey, not a destination. Because even if you're on the right track, if you stop what you're doing, you're going to get run over. In our industry, especially, things are changing by the minute. The market is changing, demographics change, technology changes. Rents are changing. The impact of single family homes change our industry. And so you will never be at a place where it's safe to just stop. You can slow down, you can look around, you can ask for directions, but just stopping and ending your journey is going to get you run over. So we have another little bonus here for you that we wanted to reference. PeterStark.com has a transparent checklist, or transparent leader checklist. And it's really, I call it a reflective gut check checklist. And so you already know the answer to these questions, but if you want to take just a moment and ask yourself these questions, I think it'll give you some really, some good understanding of opportunities that you might have to be more transparent with your team. So the questions on this checklist are you candid, honest, and do you genuinely express your thoughts and concerns? Does the message you're delivering remain the same regardless of the audience? Do you tell the truth? When you can't divulge information, do you let people know why you can't share that information? You know, and in our business, we do deal with a lot of sensitive information, whether it's information about our associates or personal information about residents. You know, some of our clients have business strategies that we have to, you know, help them facilitate. And so there's a sequence of timing to share that information. But when you have information, do you divulge it at the appropriate time? And do you let people know just up front, information's coming and I'm going to share it in the sequence that it's appropriate? Do you consistently keep commitments? Do you handle your own defeats well and not blame others? Do you ask good questions? And as Kim underscored several times in the first section, do you listen? Do you listen to the answers and remain open to new ideas? Do you value feedback of others? And do you frequently ask others, how am I doing, or how can I better support you? And I want to just take a moment to say, you know, Kim and I, we've been in the business for about the same amount of time, and we feel like we might have seen and done it all, though we know not even close. But having kind of grown up in the industry and worked on site and into a regional level, and now the portfolio level that we're in, we think we are designed to solve all of the problems. And so it is a very difficult thing when you are ultimately accountable, or you are the leader, sometimes to slow down and, instead of finding the problem yourself, listening. So I think if this checklist could be boiled down, the ultimate goal here is to listen. So what's the benefit of being one of these transparent leaders? Well, there's lots of benefits, but the three most important benefits: problems are solved faster. And again, there's no shortage of problems in the property management industry. So every minute you're saving Solving a problem can be distributed to the next problem, walking in the door or calling on the phone or coming up, through someone's faucet or toilet. Who knows what the next problem is going to be? Teams are built easier when you're transparent. And again, ultimately, the higher level of performance. And so this is probably what I'm the most excited to share and to talk about. And I'm going to try to keep my time, Kim, here. But if you listen to nothing else that I have to share today, I think this is the most important. And this is what I'm the most passionate about. Communication is the problem, and it's also the answer in almost every situation. And so Village Green, as an organization, we are committed to this culture of transparency and trust. And that hinges on our commitment to communication. The expectation at Village Green on every level is that every single day, the leaders in our organization will have a grand opening meeting. We call it a GO meeting for short, with your direct reports. Starting at the very top, every leader will take their direct reports 10 to 15 minutes a day and talk to them. And so my team, I've got about 16 folks on my team across 5 different states. We have a standing 8:30 a.m. call. Every morning we dial into this call-in number and we host a call talking about whatever is going on, whatever is the temperature of our region, any special initiatives within the company. Sometimes we share what we call authentic experiences, which is just great news. It's praise. It's sharing some of those emails Kim talked about earlier. An owner might have said, great job, or we got really great feedback on, one of the apartment rating websites, and we just take a moment and we recognize people. Other times we talk about opportunities for improvement. We share in the failures a lot so that our mistakes are not repeated, and so that our very valued associates don't feel like they're alone. We strategize. We had a call a couple of weeks ago, and the question was posed, if you could change one thing about your position, what would it be? We followed up the next day with the topic, what do you like the most about your position? And so we really just take time out of our day, every single day, to communicate with one another. What it has done for my team specifically, given the geographical spread that we have, is kind of close the gap that would otherwise exist. And communication is the foundation of any successful relationship. And let's face it, our tribe is the ultimate relationship as far as it goes with our managing properties for third-party clients. And so what we are committed to doing is meeting every day, talking every day. I don't take attendance on the meetings. Everyone is expected to join. If you can't join because you're off or you have another meeting or something comes up, no problem. You just get with someone to find out, what did we talk about today, and make sure that you didn't miss anything that was super important, or that maybe was time sensitive. We've done this now. It was a year in May. We have created this habit, and without fail, I can probably count on one hand, literally one hand, how many times in that year and 2 or 3 months, how many times we've not had an official meeting. And the times that we've not had an official meeting, we send out an email. It might be a positive quote. It might be one of the authentic stories shared in an email, but we make sure that we make time for one another every single day to communicate. We call it a GO meeting. And what it has done for our team is really, to say it's built a foundation of trust is an understatement. We know one another. We are all accountable to one another. And we have really, I think, created something that's going to be infinite in opportunities for my team and for our organization. So that's what I came to share, most importantly today, about transparency, which ultimately leads to trust. And we'll talk about that coming up very, very soon. So Kim, I'm ready to hand it back over to you.
Nope, not yet. You wish.
Not yet?
You've got one more.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hey.
Sorry about that.
One more. There you go.
Yeah.
Celebrate your tribe.
Yeah, celebrating my tribe. I should have had this picture up the whole time, Kim. I felt like I had an audience when your team was up. So these are some of the amazing people in my tribe, and just kind of, corner to corner, since my region is so spread out. We've got an apartment association event is one of those photos, a Top Golf event. Every year, one of our annual events is we go to a lake that someone on our team, her family owns the lake, and we go there for an afternoon, and we bring our families, dogs and kids and spouses, and we go and we just hang out and we spend time together. And then the bottom left photo is a manager's meeting. We have a quarterly manager's meeting, and we always try to round out the business part of the meeting is in the morning, and the afternoon or later part of the day is some team building event. This happened to be at a place called Scene 75. So we spend a lot of time together, and here in just a few, I'll talk about some team building events and some things that we do to really facilitate team building.
All right, Kim, you have the controls.
Really? There it is. Okay, so the next section that we want to cover, tribe, transparency, and truth, obviously. We're up to truth. And I couldn't address this topic without this quote. And you didn't read it like you can't handle the truth. You know you read it in his voice and said it just like it is from the movie. I love this. And when we think about truth in our industry, a lot of times we think about data or company information. I can't be truthful about everything. Melissa discussed that as well with some stuff that's just confidential or sensitive. But this is about remembering where you came from and staying connected. So I want to address truth from a different perspective. And I want to make sure I am conscious of time as well. So I want to talk about the truth of who we are as leaders and avoiding that corporate label, not being the one that when you leave, they're like, whew, thank goodness, corporate's gone. So sometimes we have to take a hard look at ourselves and our leadership style and be truthful and honest with how we're doing. And it's tough. It's not easy. But I want to introduce you, if you have not heard of this before, to the Johari Window model. If you have heard of it, that's fabulous. But let's take just a second to go over this. Johari Window is a psychological tool created by Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham, so Joe and Harry, in 1955. And it's a very simple and useful tool for understanding and training self-awareness and personal development. And the reason I like this tool is because it's one of the few tools that exist that has an emphasis on soft skills, like behavior or empathy, cooperation, interpersonal development, those things that really impact how we lead. And it's a great model to use because it's really, really simple. I love that about it. So let's look at these four. It's divided up into these four quadrants. The first factors are what is known to self, or what you know about yourself. And then the second factor down the left-hand column is what is known, or what other people know about you, known to others, it says. So let's look at this. Anything you know about yourself and are willing to share is part of your open self, the first box on the top left. Any aspect that you do not know about yourself, but others within the group have become aware of, is your blind self. And this is an area for us to take a good hard look at what comes up in this area. Why is it unknown to us but known to others? Are we okay with that? This is a great quadrant in this for us to do some self-evaluation and push ourselves to grow and be better leaders. There are also aspects about yourself that you are aware of, but maybe you don't want others to know, and that is your hidden self. And then in the bottom right, last area, is the area that's unknown to you or anyone else, and that is your unknown self. So there's all kinds of information about this online. You can Google it. There are books about it, all kinds of information. But in the interest of transparency, and as Melissa mentioned earlier, open Kimono, I found a link, maybe, online where you can do this task online. Super easy. It took me just a couple of minutes to do it. So it provides you with a list of adjectives. You take the time to pick out the top 5 or 6 that best describe you from your perspective. This is my take on myself. And then you have the ability to send the link out. So this is me, as open, kimono, and transparent as I can possibly be. I chose the words for myself first, and then I sent the link out to people in my company that I supervise, people who supervise me, trusted friends, colleagues in the industry, my spouse, participated in this as well. And then as people respond back, you get real-time updates. So you can see words that are darker or in larger font means that more people chose that word or agreed that that word was a good reflection of me. And again, you've got the 4 boxes here. They have different names on this one, but the same topic. So my open self, what I know about myself, words that I chose and words that others chose as well in this first box. Down here is my hidden self. So what is not known to me or not known to others, I guess I'm an open book. It's wide open there. And then my blind spot, which is words that others picked that I didn't pick. Now, you can only pick 5 or 6, so there's no way all your words are going to match up. But this is a good opportunity for me to look at the fact that many people picked trustworthy and intelligent and confident, but I didn't. And is that okay? Were there other words that I chose? I chose knowledgeable instead. Or are there areas there where I need to take a good hard look at it and do some digging into from myself? So it also tells you, I told people it was anonymous, so I thought it was. So I just want to put this disclaimer out here. As they respond, it tells you who said what words. So don't do what I did on that. I'm being transparent with you again. It will tell you who picked what words. But again, what a great opportunity for me to see what choices my supervisors made that they felt were the best reflections of me. And I want to share this site with you right there. So this is the site that I chose. Like I said, there are many others, and there are tons of information outside of this one. But I wanted to share this with you because it took just a couple of minutes for me to assess myself and then send it out. And as the responses came in, I got immediate feedback. So I would strongly encourage you to look into this, Google it, do some research, some reading. This is a very, very helpful tool for us. And with every section, we always ask, what's in it for me? Why should I be truthful in leadership? So being truthful in leadership is going to strengthen your reputation. My tribe knows I'm going to be honest. Sometimes that's fabulous, and sometimes they don't love that so much. But my reputation is, if you want the truth, ask her. She'll tell you. You may not love it, but she will tell you. It also deepens the quality of the relationship. My tribe trusts me because I'm honest with them. I have a clear conscience and a healthy mind. I don't have to worry about what did I tell that person, or did I say this, or what version did I give? I don't have to do that. I was truthful and I was honest. And it sets a very powerful example for my team. So again, what you want to ignite in others must first burn inside yourself. If I expect my team, my tribe, to be honest, and to be honest with me, and to be transparent, I have to lead with that. If I consistently find that members of my tribe aren't being honest with me, I have to take a good hard look at myself as their leader, because I'm sourcing that out to them. And why am I doing that? How am I doing that? And how do I shift it? Because that's not the kind of leader I want to be, and that's not what I want back from my tribe. So truth becomes very, very critical piece to this leadership puzzle. And although we titled this Tribe, Transparency, and Truth, as we were working through this material, another T kind of popped its head up, and we have to sneak it in the remaining time that we have. So Melissa's going to sneak in our bonus. We're going to call it a bonus T, which is trust.
Melissa,
Right.
you have the key.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So our fourth and final T, you've heard us say the word trust. And it's almost, fitting that it goes with every single other T that we've talked about. But trust is defined as a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. And position and authority will give you followers, but trust is what makes you a leader. So we want to reference a book that if you've not read, I'm sure you've at least heard of. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And not to get super deep into the book, but the principle of the book is that the absence of trust is the foundation of a dysfunctional team. So conversely, a foundation built on trust is the key to having a highly functioning team. And creating trust is one of the most difficult things to do. You can't dictate that someone trusts you. You can't ask them to trust you. It takes time. Again, it takes all of that commitment. It takes experiences. It takes winning and losing together to trust one another. I remember in grade school going to a field trip at a camp, and we had to lock arms, and someone would fall off of the platform and you'd let them catch you. And I was like, there's not a chance for love or money that I would do that. I don't trust any of you. No way. And no one got dropped. I don't remember that I did it. No one got dropped, but this element of trust really comes from consistency. It comes from sharing all of the experiences that we've talked about with your tribe. We found an article on Forbes.com that really just fit into what we're talking about today, how to build trust on your team or with your tribe. And this, I think, has become, other than how passionate I was to share our Go meeting concept with you, this was the most powerful thing for me to learn as a leader. And I didn't know about this article. Kim found it and shared it as a reference. And I read it and it really spoke to me. How to build trust on your team. And mind you, when I came into this opportunity with Kim to share this presentation with her, I already felt like I had a really strong foundation of trust on my team. We just continue to build it. And this concept here called Simple Leadership Conversations really, really helped me. And so the premise is that you have one-on-one meetings with your team, and not a meeting that is already scheduled, not your weekly team meeting, not the daily Go meetings, but a one-on-one meeting, whether it's out on a site visit, whether it's picking up the phone, whether it's popping in like Kim talked about doing when she happens to be in the neighborhood of one of her properties. And it's having this one-on-one conversation with someone to ask them these three things. How are you doing? What's in your way? And how can I help you remove that obstacle? And is there anything else that I can do for you? Or is there anything else you want me to know? And then most importantly, listening to what they have to say. So I wanted to share an example and share something that happened with me personally because of this article. We joked around a little bit. We've been in the business so long. We feel like we know what problems are. We're always looking for, how do we create efficiencies? How do we get our team motivated? How do we, solve for the normal property management problems that exist on any given day? And we move very fast. And sometimes when you go out on site, it's very difficult to slow down. For me, it's very difficult to slow down. It's difficult to keep my phone out of reach, to shut my email down for, the day. But that's what's required to really listen. And what I want to share with you is when I read this article, it was very powerful to me because I have, believe it or not, a little bit of a reputation for being the talker of the group. I can talk for days. I talk when I get nervous. And I also feel like as the leader, sometimes I'm expected to talk. And I couldn't be, I think, further from the truth sometimes in that misconception. As a leader, it's as important to listen as it is to talk. And so when I read this, that really spoke to me. And I started practicing, number 3 especially. I started saying to my team, is there anything else you want to share with me? Anything else going on that I should know about? Because I found out that when I let people talk, or we're in an organic situation where we have the occasion to talk, whether it's personal, hey, what did you do last night? How was your weekend? That sort of thing. Or just on site and you start talking about, a specific resident or a specific capital need or something that's going on that you wouldn't have otherwise found out about. I was like, I wonder what else I'm missing out on because I'm talking all the time. So I started practicing it. And I had a situation where one of my associates wasn't performing to their regular standard, and it started getting in the way. And this associate I was very close with them, and I was a little confused at first, and I thought maybe it's a bad week, maybe something's going on, maybe they're overwhelmed, maybe this owner's, requesting something I'm not sure about, and I started trying to problem solve for them. And it again was getting in the way. Deadlines were being missed. Things were going on that I was having to, to really address. And so I had this conversation and I said, listen, I can tell something's on your mind. I can tell something's going on. Is there anything that you want to share with me? And the associate goes, as a matter of fact, there is, and I don't want to get too far into it, but I need you to know that I'm going through this very personal situation. And it was a deeply personal situation, and I couldn't have been further off basis with what was causing this associate, this very valuable associate, to be kind of, wavering in their performance. And I said, you say no more. You don't need to tell me any details. I'm very sorry for what you're going through. Let me offer up some resources. As a company, we have some resources available to you. Is there anything I could do as far as, do you need time off? Do you want me to provide some help with some deliverables? And I started problem solving in a way that was adding layers of support instead of, making up problems that didn't exist, hoping something would stick so we could fix that and move on. And had I not read this article in the context of preparing for this presentation, I would have never asked that question. So I share that with you because it's powerful. When you let someone tell you, and when they trust you enough to tell you what it is that is going on and what might be distracting them, you can actually get about the business of running your business and providing resources and taking care of the people in your tribe who you care so much about. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm not sure I have, there we go. I was going to say I didn't think I could drive anymore. We had a couple of quotes here, and I don't know about you, but I'm constantly looking for motivation for myself. Kim spoke earlier about we don't spend a lot of time kind of feeding ourselves. And one thing that I love to do is find motivational quotes. And to Kim's point earlier, because my group is spread out, we do a lot of group text. And as soon as I'm done with this webinar, by the way, I owe my team a group text. It's been a little while, and I want to find something funny or something motivating like this to send them. But these were all quotes that I had saved at some point or another about building a team. And so to build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness and not a threat to your position or authority. And I think that is very powerful. And I've been a part of a team where the leader feels threatened and therefore kind of squelches any semblance of trust that exists. And without trust, we don't truly collaborate. We merely coordinate, or at best cooperate. It's trust that transforms a group of people into a team or tribe. And you don't inspire your teammates by showing them how amazing you are. You inspire them by showing them how amazing they are. So I wanted to end today in sharing with you some ideas for effective team building. And I'll go back because that's distracting. And we don't have another challenge for you. But some effective team building ideas, because, as we've kind of noted throughout this presentation, it really does take commitment from you as the leader to build a tribe that is based on a foundation of trust. And so that means spending time with one another. Some things that Kim and I kind of came up with these together. They're things that we've done independently, and some of them aren't, amazing or rocket science. They're things you may do, and others are things that I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. I want to do that. One of the things that my team does is we do a Ronald McDonald Workday, Ronald McDonald House, at least once a year. Sometimes the regions break out and do it more than that. Ours is coming up on August 29th, actually. We have a managers meeting the first half of the day, and the second half of the day is a work day. And at the Ronald McDonald House, they're always looking for volunteers. You can cook a meal for families in the house. You can help them organize their storage areas. We did weed eating last time we were there and pulling weeds in their outside areas and their gardens. And it's just a really great way, making beds and turning rooms, cleaning rooms. That's a very humbling experience, and sort of like what we do in the apartment industry to prepare units for the next people. We've done things like go to breakout rooms. We've done things like Top Golf. I showed you the picture there earlier. Having days where we put our families together, kind of like the lake event that I had the picture of there. There is really no substitute that I have found for making sure that my family understands that my work family knows who they are. And any time that I spend away from my family, when I can kind of speak to them and say, oh, by the way, I was with Kelly today and here's what I did. And this is why I didn't make it home to eat dinner with you. It just creates this level of trust and this, I guess, sense of family is the best way to say it, with both your work tribe and your home tribe. We talked about the go meetings. We have these daily go meetings, and that's as effective of a team building idea as we've ever had. The quarterly managers meetings again. We do potluck lunches sometimes. Every Monday we have lunch for our team, and occasionally we'll have everyone just bring in something different and we'll do a potluck. We've had chili cook-off competitions, which is very, very fun. It's amazing when people have the opportunity to be competitive, how creative they get and what that kind of does for your team. We do happy hours. And that's been a really fun event. We've had the corporate associates organize happy hour and invite all the site associates. And that's been really fun. And it's been very different groups than I would have expected to join those happy hours. So that's just been a really nice team building idea. Having one-on-one lunches. And this is something that I've had to really focus on because I don't usually take time to do that. And I don't know why. I certainly don't dislike having lunch and eating and going out to do that sort of thing. I just don't take time to do it. And one of my colleagues does. She makes it a point to take people to lunch, and it is very humbling how much influence you have in the field. And even with your regional associates, when you give them the gift of your time and your attention, it's amazing what kind of things you will learn about someone. And so that has been, it might not be the overall team that's involved in that kind of event, but when you take time and focus on and coach and be there for one associate, your whole team really benefits from that. We've done scavenger hunts. We've gone to theme parks. Kim just went to a Reds game, I think, a month or so ago with her team, and that was really cool to do a big sporting event like that. We've had Biggest Loser contest, pet costume contest. Village Green does a Take Your Dog to Work Day, and there's a really big following for that. And even for those sites that are remote, there's now like a photo contest and a pet parade that happens online, so that if you're not in the environment where you're rubbing elbows with your corporate folks or your team every day, you can still interact with them, whether it's text messages or video or Skype or FaceTime. And then attending association events together. We try to do that as often as possible, and it's just a way to, I don't know that I've ever been more proud we went to, my whole team actually came into town in January, and we had a strategy planning meeting, and it happened to fall on, I wish that I could say that I had planned it this way. I didn't. It just happened to fall on the day of one of our general membership meetings for the Greater Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Apartment Association. And I invited my whole team to attend that meeting with me there. And I was so proud to walk into that event and have my entire team there. We took up a whole table and then some. And I was like, wow, this is powerful. And I think, from a team building perspective, they were very proud to be there as well. So we just wanted to take a moment and share those things with you. I would love to invite you. I think our contact information is somewhere in this presentation, but if you've got any great team building ideas, anything that's worked really well for you, I'd love for you to share those. I'm constantly looking for ways to improve upon how we spend time together as a tribe. And so I would really appreciate any great ideas that you have.
Well, that was a lot, and it was all really fascinating to me. The thing that I was sort of focusing on is that we have to sort of recommit ourselves to finding motivation every day to be the best people that we can be, and then we extend that to our teams. Mm-hmm. And that you can't set it and forget it. You might do better on one day and not as good the next, and there are a lot of variables that play into that. But these are really great principles that help move you forward. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is that really leadership is more of a practice than a science, because it's something that you do on a daily basis, and you have varying degrees of success. I guess those are really two ways of saying the same thing. But my leadership, in any leadership role I've ever had, I've always tried to approach it as a practice, because it's constantly perfecting and rededicating yourself. Wow. So thanks so much, Kim and Melissa. That was really awesome. I really appreciate all the great knowledge that you shared, and it's a lot to think about. I know that I'll be taking some of that into my thought as I move throughout the rest of my day. If you're attending, I want you to know that this webinar has been recorded and that it will be posted to our conference website, and you'll receive a follow-up email with a link to the recording. So don't worry if you missed something. Also note that you will have in having access to this, you have access to both contact information. So I understand that Melissa wrapped up by saying she was interested in interacting. So that's all there for you should you decide to continue the conversation. And that's actually all we have time for today. I am thrilled that you've taken time out of your busy day to join us, and I hope that you'll consider joining us at Apartmentalize 2019 in Denver. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.